Go. I come out the scuffle without a scuffle. I got a duffel full of hundreds aiming at your head.
Yeah, so I grew up in New York, more specifically Long Island, which is the home of most of these people. It's the suburbs of New York. And I have been around this type of energy for a long time. And I think there's a funny mentality because it's not only being in this world, but being a New Yorker in this world. And I think there's a thing in New York, like these people are living like rock stars, but without the fame. So it's inherently a little bit more sad because, you know, everything in Long Island, or at least in my opinion of it, when you would go and see these rich people's houses, look a little bit like Donald Trump's like apartment. It's like, gaudy rich. It's like, oh, that doesn't look comfortable or cool, but yet they have like a projector that has like a red, green, and blue, like light. And it's like, whoa, they got a projector and the screen comes down over the fireplace. This is amazing. Like, that kind of stuff. So I had run-ins with that kind of wealth and those types of people, and I was not young enough to care like where they worked, but I knew people like worked down in the World Trade Center, and I had family that worked at like the investment companies, and so yeah, I've definitely been surrounded by it, but I think there's a bravado, that energy that is so different in New York that then you're like, that's another layer to this like Wall Street energy. David Casp, who's one of the creators of the show, and I are like personal friends. He's married to Casey Wilson, who is the writing partner of my wife, June Raphael. So David's been in my life for a really long time, and I was on Happy Endings with him for like a little guest part. But a couple of years ago, back when I was doing The League, he was like, my friend Jordan and I were working on this idea for Showtime. It's about Wall Street. Would you ever be into maybe like looking at that script? And I was like, yeah, but I can't because of The League, And he's like, yeah, and I got Happy Endings. And it just kind of went away. But it always stuck out in my head, especially like when Happy Endings was over and then when Marry Me was over. I was like, when is that going to come back? Maybe because now I'm free, maybe it'll come back. And literally last year around this time, he said, we're looking at this thing, and we actually want to change the part we thought you would be right for. I think originally they may have wanted me for the Lehman Brothers. And he's like, we wrote this part for like a 60-year-old man. Would you want to just take a look at it and see what you could do with it? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And I read this part, and I totally got it. And we talked about like the arc of the character, and I was like, I love this. And what I kind of loved about it was the character, when you first meet him, comes across in a very typical way. Like, I think if you were to watch it, you'd be like, oh, seems something out of like Wolf of Wall Street or Wall Street. And then as the show kind of progresses, you start to see kind of a multi-layered person, a real human being. And for me, it's something that, I don't often get asked to do. It's like, oh, just be like this kind of crazy, fun character on the side. So it was really fun from an acting perspective, but also to work with David, who I feel like the jokes per minute on this show is on par with Veep. It's just like boom, boom, boom. You're just like knocking out jokes. If there's not a joke that you like, just wait 2 seconds because there's another 5, So yeah. Probably the most interesting detail on set is something that you will never see. And it's the magazines that are around the office. A lot of the times, we're in the background or we're in we're in these bigger scenes and you have like a moment of downtime before you have to like walk in. And I remember picking up a TV guide and looking at a TV guide, and this is like a TV guide from the mid-'80s. It brought me so much joy, like looking at an old TV guide, like seeing an ad for like Webster, and like reading like, "Are stars bad on set? Here's what Patrick Duffy says." And I'm like, yes, I want to hear like dirt from Dallas. Like, what is Alex Karras, the dad from Webster, being interviewed about? Like, the TV guide was such a touchstone to me in my life. So that was like the one prop I wanted to steal. But I remember one time I moved it to like my desk just so I could continue to read it. And like the prop guy was like, "Did you move that?" I was like, "Yeah." So I was like, I can't steal this TV guide. Although I'm sure I could buy an old TV guide, no problem, on eBay. But that to me is everything. That's the 80s to me.
Once he marries that Georgina chick, we will take his shares and become cracker rich.
Pretty good plan, right?
It's more like a felony followed by a bunch of dumb luck.
Hi there.